In the year 2035, advancements in technology led to the creation of the world of Connect. It was as realistic as the real world, with perfectly natural AI, NPCs, fancy swordsmanship, and magic that players could only experience in-game. All of these elements attracted over 100 million people to the world of Connect. Later, a large group of people lay dead in front of the gate, and a man screamed in pain as daggers struck him in the body. Then the man fell to the ground lifeless in front of other onlookers who were observing Bae DoHyun with the aim named Crash. The men called DoHyun a bastard, and one of them urged the others to charge at him since he was alone. The man also shouted that DoHyun was the enemy of the empire, and the men charged at him together to attack. However, DoHyun calmly looked at them, and the system displayed his rank as 13th in his class as psychokinetic. One of the men aimed an arrow at him while shouting for him to die, but he simply raised his 2 fingers and deflected the arrow, decapitating the man. The leader ordered his knights to fire their arrows, which they did, and the arrows flew toward DoHyun. He raised his hand to stop the arrows from getting closer to him, leaving the knights astonished that the arrows had stopped. Then he hurled the arrows back at the knights, prompting the leader to order his knights to dodge. Unfortunately for the others, they were hit before they could evade. DoHyun rolled the dagger in his hand and gripped it tightly. He swiftly attacked the leader with it, causing the leader's neck to bleed. Then he approached the remaining knights, who cursed him for his psychokinetic abilities and asked about his overpowered skill. However, one of the knights was horrified when he saw something above them. Noticing the weapon suspended in the air, DoHyun aimed the weapons at them, making the knight curse, knowing what would happen next. Then he lowered his hand, releasing the weapons, which flew directly at the knights. Afterward, he walked away, leaving bloody footprints, and entered the castle. Leaving a trail of dead knights outside, he easily dispatched the guards inside the castle, and as he looked around, he wondered what it was. Then he heard someone coughing beside him, and the Pope revealed that it was the end. DoHyun simply stared at the Pope's pendant, realizing it was what he had been searching for. The Pope told him that God had foretold the coming of saviors to that world. DoHyun raised his hand to grasp the Pope's necklace, but the Pope tightly held his hand, asking him why there were only fighters there, why he had brought chaos to the world, why he had burned the cities, killed the innocents, and enslaved the people there. DoHyun just grabbed the Pope's necklace, calling the Pope an old man and telling him not to blame him, but to blame the guild that had colluded with the empire. Then he heard footsteps outside, causing him to curse as he realized the guild's latecomers had arrived. He ascended the stairs with the Pope warning him not to forget that everything would unfold as God had intended, and all of them would pay for what they had done. He faced the huge box with a hole in the center, and slowly placed the pendant in the hole. A magical light appeared, and when the box accepted the pendant, it revealed an underground passage. He walked down, recalling the information from the intel, but his thoughts were interrupted when he saw a book and other objects floating in the purple light. He thought these must be the very first mythical items in Connect. He knew that 5 years ago major guilds had colluded with the empire and destroyed the world. Everything he had done for the last 6 months had been for this, and an NPC lamenting was nothing. He understood that the major guilds now controlled Connect, and he was the only solo player left in the top 100. He placed the items inside his inventory, thinking he should take them before the others arrived, as the guilds would be very upset if they found out he had obtained them first. Then he decided to leave, but noticed something on the table and wondered if it was a game cartridge. He picked it up, wondering why it was there. Suddenly a strong pressure emanated from the game cartridge, causing him to bend his knees slightly in pain and panic. He wondered if it was a connection error and what it meant. Then he logged out immediately. He woke up in his room and sat up abruptly when he saw a stab wound near his chest. While someone told him to stop moving, he cursed in his mind, realizing that things were going too well for him. The man, along with other suited men, asked him why he was moving so much and told him to die peacefully. This made him think that they had gone too far in the real world, and he called them pieces of trash. One of the men in the group informed their president that they had captured Dune and asked if he wanted them to bring him alive. When their president replied, the man said they understood. Another man asked what their president had said, and the man replied that they should kill DoHyun because their president only wanted Done's head. Then the men grabbed him, telling him that he should have played at his level, and asked if he thought he had something going for him just because he was good at a game, and if nothing scared him after he gained some fame. He begged them not to kill him, but one of the men covered his face and raised a sharp blade to kill him. Then the man stabbed him repeatedly, making him think that those men were crazed for killing people over a game, and he wondered if he was going to die like this. Suddenly someone continuously called him sir. In a panic, urging him to wake up. He panicked, sat up immediately in surprise, looked at his hand in confusion, and glanced around, wondering what had just happened. As he recalled dying after being stabbed, suddenly he heard someone in pain beside him, and the maid asked him if he was okay. While addressing him as Raul, he wondered who Raul was, but was more surprised to see a level status above The maid named Anna, at level 3. Anna asked him if she should call a doctor because he had broken into a cold sweat. He was confused about what was happening and felt like he was witnessing something he shouldn't have been able to. Then the system popped up a notification indicating that the soul had settled in activating Connect's closed beta system. And he could now use the user interface. The current number of users was one. He asked in panic if they were kidding him. And realized that it meant he was inside the world.